Morning, everyone. All right, I think we are the caboose of this week. Wrapping it up here. Let's kick off. Let's hop right in. I know we're running a little bit behind. So, Jessie Cooper, I run business partnerships at Smartly. So for us, that means platforms, Meta, TikTok, Snap, Pinterest, Google, as well as ecosystem. So I work with the data, the measurement, the creative tooling, and commerce partners as well. So really kind of looking across the ecosystem and all the ways we bring advertising to life. And with that, Denise, would you like to set the stage for your role at Bayer, what you look over, and take it away?
Take it away. And good morning, everyone. We promise to make this fun. I think when people hear Bayer, they're like, oh, pharma, snooze, not relevant to me, but definitely relevant. I'm paving the way at Bayer, and I'm excited to tell everyone how we do that. And so overseeing influencer, social, and PR, and I think that's an important equation too, because you need to start bringing things together more and not silo them, so all of these pieces are working along the consumer journey. So I've been at Bayer for about 5 years, and we started with 0 influencer programs, and we do over 150 a year now.
That's insane.
It is insane, in a good way.
Absolutely. That momentum's incredible. So, let me throw this out there, and we'll see where this goes. So, the media ecosystem has radically changed in days, weeks, months, years, right? We're moving so fast. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in social as a brand marketer?
Yeah, and I love Cannes for so many reasons, not just for a dead mouse last night, which if you were not there, was a lot of fun. But I'm going to contend with my hair here. But everyone is having the conversation that I have been challenging people. Like my drop the mics moment is, and anybody that's working at an advertising agency, it doesn't mean you're going to go extinct. It means that you have to pivot. And I keep saying drop the mic moment is creators are here and we need to embrace that. They are going to take over the ad industry in a big way. But how do you do that? We need to partner as brands with these creators to create content. It's efficient, it makes sense, it's platform ready, it's platform right. So get ready for this new era. Because that's where everything's going. And it's not a or, it's an and. So we just need to figure out how to implement it.
And to contextualize that, I read something in Adweek. I want to get it right, so I'm going to read from my sheet. Influencer Hub estimated that the creator economy just this year alone is going to be $104 billion, and that is going to double in the next 18 months to over $200 billion by 2020, or 2 years, I guess, by 2025, which is, there's a lot on the table.
Right.
So thinking about, again, the content creators, creator versus influencer, do you see a difference? Do you delineate between the two?
Yes.
And how do you goal and KPI them?
Yeah. So I also love that conversation, and I call influencers and creators fraternal twins.
Okay.
And they're fraternal twins because they can look alike, they have similarities, but also they're a little bit different. Now, there's this evolution. So if you're as old as I am, 25, you sort of graduate from the blogger days, and then who's been to blog her? Hello. So you go. Thank you. So you go from blogging to mommy blogging to vloggers. The influencers are on the scene, and it seems to wipe that out. But people are just evolving, and now creators are here. So the way I describe it, the big difference between influencers and creators, influencers are about growing their audience. So we're all looking about how many followers they have. They're creating really good content, but it's to gain followers. Now, creators have followers because they have really great content, but their end objective is the content, is creating amazing content and being a creator, a designer, versus let me grow my audience. It's a benefit that comes out of it. So it's a very small difference, but when we are looking for that ad-like content, we do lean more into creators than just influencers.
Okay. Okay, and then how do you KPI them? How do you goal them? When you look at your return on your ad spend?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different for both, and it depends on the kind of program that you execute. So influencer programs, and I talk a lot about this, and I've had talks about it, is you need to use influencers across the entire consumer journey, right? Every marketing step of the way. So if you're engaging influencers and you're simply just using them to say, hey, this mic is the best mic ever, and then they put that on their organic channels, that's great, but what about tying it to retail? What about taking that asset and using it on your PDB pages?
Mm-hmm.
What about using the influencer in some, retail? What about using paid? So whitelisting their content and tagging it so you can get an read on it. There's so many things that you can do that I literally, when people are like, I don't want to do influencer because I really can't measure it. One of the big objectives when I got to Bayer, and they're like, we don't really want to do influencer. The way I got them to buy in was literally implementing a measurement strategy where it's apples to apples. So marketers got the measurement, the ROAS, the ROI, the MMM, all the things that they wanted. And then when they got it, they were like, oh, all of a sudden a light bulb went off. And that's how we went from 0 programs, spending $0 to well into the millions. And measurement is definitely key there. But with creators, you're creating an ad-like asset. So you're going to measure it the same way that you would measure a display ad.
Right.
Easy breezy, genius and brilliant. Let's do it all the time.
So, and you're in a unique situation because you are at a pharma company having OTC brands. So talk to me a little bit about what are some of the challenges outside? Okay, so now you've proven that it works.
Yes.
But that's not where it ends.
No.
Talk to me about what else is in your uphill climb on this.
Yeah. So I'm also a UFC fighter. And what I mean by that is I literally get into the LMR or MLR, people call it different things, but legal, medical, and regulatory. That is my UFC match every day. I'm literally like, who's got the chokehold on me? Who's bringing my arm behind my back? Because there's somebody I follow on LinkedIn, I can't remember his name, but he's brilliant. He's literally like, this is social media, this is legal. And it's literally the person's dead, crossbones. And that's what they're there to do. They're there to protect the company. But ask why. Ask why not. Or show them other brands that are doing it. I'm like, okay, well, our competitors are doing this. Why can't we? So you continually got to push.
Yeah.
And happy accident, I was here early this morning listening to the CMO of ELF, and she was literally like, the more it scares me, the more I want to do it. And I was like, goddess, you are a goddess, and I have a huge girl crush on you, because that's why I wake up every day to do something that somebody's like, how the fuck did you do that? And I'm like, because it was so badass, I had to have my name attached to it. So legal doesn't stop us. Ask why. Ask why.
And for those who came in after we started, so Denise said she does 150 influencer campaigns a year, right? That's less than every if you're lucky enough to work 5 days a week, I'll do the math for you. That's less a campaign every day and a half, effectively, that she's putting out there across her portfolio of 30 brands. So what is your secret for maintaining that velocity? And do you see that only increasing going forward? Do you see it stabilizing? How do you keep pace with that?
Mm-hmm. So we have our ear to the ground. Listen to what's going on out there. Ride the wave, tap into the trends, do different things. Like when Instagram came out with collabs, which feels like it was a century ago, I was like, oh my God, we have to have, so we have one a day prenatal. And I'm like, we have to collab moms that already had 2 kids to someone who's just about to have a baby, and collab them, because the best way to get advice about parenting is somebody who went through the process. So we're gonna pair these people together through collabs, see how that goes. So every time I'm doing a program, we're making sure we're doing test and learns on new tools that are out there, new trends that are happening. Some of our most successful programs were a try. We had an award-winning program and TikTok's still using it as a case study in the health
yes.
category because people aren't really breaking through there. But for One a Day, we took the Teach Me How to Dougie song and turned it into Teach Me How to Gummy. And yes, we created a dance. And yes, we had Alfonso Ribeiro, so Pepsi commercial with Michael Jackson, for those of you that are as old as I am, and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he danced his ass off to this song and then passed it on to other TikTokers to also dance their ass off. And the program, again, like lightning in a bottle. So we did everything that everybody else was doing on the platform. It was the first time that we went into TikTok. I just got an ally within the organization, and I just I put like a earworm, and I was like, you have to do TikTok. You have to do TikTok. I am hypnotizing you. You will do TikTok. And she leaned in, and the program, I mean, I'll say to people sometimes, I'm like, just let me lead the way and I will help you get a promotion. Because I'm a subject matter expert, right? I don't work on the brands. So I have to convince the brands as well. And that's what I do. And, you know, she did get a promotion. So congratulations to her. And I have an award-winning program.
Would you say that was your favorite campaign? Is that so far, to date?
One of my favorite programs, because I believe in women's health and advancing that and really having a powerful message out there, is really a campaign we called MIDAL, No Apologies, Period. And there's an insight when young girls start getting their period, they apologize more. And we wanted to put an end to that. So first of all, as a society, we apologize for no reason. Like, I'll just grab this and I'll be like, sorry. And men do it too. So, but we did have that insight about young girls, and we wanted to tell them, you don't have to apologize. So we went out there with this really strong and bold message that there's no reason to apologize, and we had a full holistic marketing campaign that supported that. Also an award-winning program that we're very proud of, that our partners at 12 Note worked on with us.
That's very cool. Shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about some of the tech and the tools that help you get there, right? That end-to-end that are teeing you up. So how do you see the role of creative tech in bridging the gap between partnering with creatives and achieving that scale, efficiency, and impact that you need?
Yeah, I think so. There's two sides of that. So there are so many tools for creators to make their jobs a little bit easier. And like Adobe, for example, and I know they're around here. And
Smartly.
Yes,
Yeah.
that are just, so you have these tools as creators that you can use, make your job easier and do all of those things. Now, on our side, we're always testing new tools as well. Like, how do we create efficiencies? How do we advance our numbers? Can we measure things better? So we test and learn, because there's so many things out there that you don't want to be too early of an adopter and something's not really working in your favor.
Yeah, being able to be nimble, keep pace, having ways to automate that and scale that, I think, is so important. You know, kind of, I guess, taking that then one step further, and when we were chatting before we came up here a little bit about AI, because everyone knows that question's coming, but can you speak to the ways that, you know, you as a marketer, your company, and your industry is thinking about AI today, but then I also want you to have a crystal ball, and, like, how do you think that's going to change when we're here a year from now?
Yeah. So I love it, and it's very fascinating, and ChatGPT is pretty damn awesome. So if you've not played with it, you definitely have to. I was listening to a Jocko podcast, and if you're as obsessed with the U.S. Navy SEALs as I am, then Jocko is a must-listen-to podcast. So he had ChatGPT analyze him, and he had it write his next podcast. And it was pretty interesting. And then he built his podcast around that. And there were some things in there that were off, and there were some things in there that were pretty relevant. So I think as we lean into AI, which is totally cool and totally fascinating, also obsessed, but let's see how it all pans out, right? Because I don't believe, and I heard somebody else say this week, is it's not going to replace that human side. So we all think that, oh my God, we're at Walmart and now we all have to check ourselves out. oh my God, there's nobody at the register. It's we aren't going to make the full shift over to AI is going to take the jobs of marketers. They're going to start writing press releases for us. I think that the opportunity for us is to use it as a tool. We bring the soul, we bring the human side, we use it as a tool, let that do the legwork while we're actually doing the real strategic thinking. So pair it together.
Yeah. What is your, I guess then, oh wait, where are we going to be a year from now? Where do you think we're going to be
a year from now?
Yeah. 2024. Yeah, like, but where are we going to be with the conversation?
I will be having rosé. So I think a year from now, we'll start to see this like flip, right? So everyone's starting with creating these marketing campaigns from how we're going to go in market, what is maybe our at a home, what are all these other bits, and then they have social, and then they're like, oh, and then there's social. So a year from now or tomorrow, really, people should be doing this is starting with social. Because that's where the consumer is. Like, how many people like woke up this morning and the first thing you looked at was like TikTok or Instagram or whatever? That's what you do. So why are we starting with traditional tactics when we should really be starting with anything that's inherently social? So in my job, I have social and influencer because those things are working together seamlessly to really deliver on that brand message and that campaign out in the marketplace. So I think, and I honestly think it needs to happen tomorrow, but it takes a minute for bigger companies like Bayer to get on board. Like 5 years ago, we just launched all our social media channels. Thank you. I was like, are we in the 80s? Like what? when they called me up. But nonetheless, we'll catch up, and we have to start social first.
So let's double down on winning. This is a 6-part question, so bear with me. When we think about winning as a brand, how do you see disruption? What's going to win? Who's going to win? What do marketers need to do to win? And what are you going to do to win?
Yeah. So I also teach spin. And I tell people, like, the minute we start riding our bikes, I'm like, you didn't come here to be average. You came here to be the best possible version of yourself. So when you get up in the morning, and I'll censor myself, I like to curse a lot, just for shock value, but you look in the mirror and you say, I am effing awesome. I'm awesome. So set the stage to make sure you're doing great stuff all day. And that's how it should be professional and personally. You don't have to be a different person. You want to always bring your best self. And I think that fire in the belly, having courage, and the brands that have this backbone and are willing to take risks and calculated risks, we all don't want to look like crazy people, but that are really doing things that are breaking through the clutter because they're not obvious, because they're in a space that maybe you shouldn't be. But you're showing up there and everyone's now paying attention to you. So you have to really push the bar. You don't want to be average.
No.
Like, you didn't wake up this morning being like, I'm going to be average.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. On that note, questions. I think I'm getting the yes in the white.
Thank you. Very interesting and fun so far. I just kind of had a question about the topic. So, traditional creative obviously used to be way more aspirational. And I think now we're seeing like a bit of a shift of consumers moving over to authenticity. So like, how do you think partnering with creatives maybe helps brands lean into telling more authentic stories? And like, what value does that have?
So I think it's honestly about letting go of your brand a little bit and letting those creators tell stories authentically. So I'll give you an example. I don't like when creators come back and they literally are like, Claritin clears your allergies, it's better than this product, and here are all the product benefits, and they literally read the box. I'm like, I want you to tell that story that you used to love going outside, and that's part of your life, and that's how you met your husband, and you used to do these picnics, and all of these things were so fun. And then in your 30s, you started getting allergies, and life flipped. And tell me that story so that your community can say, hey, yeah, I go outside less. I don't go on my morning runs anymore because allergies are preventing me from doing that. They don't want to hear about, like, oh, 24 hours and you're clear. You know, that's not the platform for it. So you really want to let go and let these creators tell stories because they know their audiences, they know their communities, and they know what's going to resonate. And you have to let your guard down a little bit and not be in so much control. Yeah.
Oh, one more?
Really quickly. So your career hasn't always been in OTC. So moving into that category, what's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned that you will take on into other industries?
Yeah, so thank you. I have never treated this category like OTC. And I've always worked in the CPG category, and I've always treated all of these OTC products as CPG products. So I think that by looking at them as CPG products, it enabled me to not constrain myself in a regulated industry. And I think that is just the vision that I had, and I continue to pursue. And I always root everything in just bringing health to the world as like what I need to do, what my responsibility is, and in order to do that, I need to break through. And that's telling stories that are, resonating and not necessarily in a regulated environment.